You ever heard of this guy, Spawn Wave Media? I'm not super familiar with him. He always makes the same face in all of his videos. Like, at least I use recycled pictures, and I admit it. He once told me that these are all new pictures that he takes every day. I'm calling cap on that. You're reusing, John. Stop lying to me. But I guess I'm supposed to be friends with this guy, but I keep seeing his videos pop up in my YouTube subscription feed, and he's talking about all these new Nintendo Switch game leaks, and I'm like, what did I miss? Did something happen? Like, why am I not talking about these games? What are the games? Because it looks like 2 games, at least according to lots of rumors and speculations, have potentially leaked for the Nintendo Switch 2. So in today's video, I want to talk about what these games are, and more importantly, why people are talking about them as potentially coming to Nintendo's next system. We're going to go on a wild ride here, and maybe I'll enlighten you guys a little bit, at least as to what I think about this and things that I have heard off the record. So if this is your first time here, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because there's going to be lots of Switch 2 crap on this channel coming up. But without any further ado, let's talk about what's going on. So our first game in question is Baldur's Gate 3. Now, of course, Baldur's Gate 3 came out on the PC. Everyone loves it. You can sleep with a bear, and I don't mean like sleep. I mean like do it with a bear, but it's not really a bear, but it's not like, you know, a hairy guy bear or something like that. No, it's an actual bear and stuff like that. You know, I guess that's what some people are into. Like that's cool with you, but obviously this is a massive, expansive action RPG style game that has really taken the world by storm. It doesn't, you know, come as a huge shock. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 were very popular PC titles, and of course now this game is coming to the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox family of systems. Now, there was some controversy around the Xbox Series S version lacking one of the features of this game, the split screen local co-op, but I mean, I really don't know, maybe there's people that have someone to play this game all the way through with, but I feel like for a vast majority of people, it's more so about the single player experience. So what the hell does this game have to do with the Nintendo Switch 2? Well, let's go down this rabbit hole, folks, because now everyone's freaking out about this. I can't say this. Etsushi Iizuka, here's a picture of him back in 2001, has a lot of work with Nintendo. This man does a lot of things with Nintendo. You could see here they have been credited on 16 different games, doing coordination of games coming to Nintendo platforms. We have stuff like Samurai Warriors 3, Dragon Quest 6. Yes, it took me a second to figure out the Roman numeral. Dragon Quest 6 on the DS, Dragon Quest Monsters Joker 2 on the DS. So a lot of stuff here within coordination. This person essentially coordinates and even produces stuff with stuff like Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, being the last game that they were sort of given a producer role on, and it was also involved in Shin Megami Tensei. Now, here's where things get interesting, is that you could see right here, black and white, clear as crystal, well, actually blue and white because of the background here, that they are credited with Baldur's Gate 3. Now, initially, it was thought that this credit was from 2020, but this credit is actually from 2023, putting people into a tizzy. Like, oh man, here we go. This person was given a special thanks because they're working on this game, because they did something with this game, or they're coordinating with this game coming to Nintendo's next platform. Now, when you look at the lineup of games here, a vast majority of them have released on Nintendo platforms. Disney's Illusion Island, there were a special thanks. Of course, that game came out, didn't sell all that well, but it was a good game, I thought. You know, good, it was fun, it was okay, you know, it was decent. I got a review on it, go check it out. There's a few games like Mario Kart Arcade GP D-Generation X here. Of course, that never got a home console release, but because of this special thanks, everyone's losing their mind, and they're like, this means that it's coming to the Switch 2. And I'm like, wait, hold on here, let's take a few steps back. Because if you know anything about a special thanks is simply that. It is thanking someone for whatever reason. People have been accredited in special thanks that had nothing to do with a project being a thing. You know, it could have been something like, oh, this is our friend, let's let's put him on a special thanks or something like that. It's not a smoking gun here of involvement, because of the fact that this would be the first that we've heard of this potentially coming to a Nintendo system. Now, off the record, I have talked to people that have talked to Larian off the record, and allegedly there is no plan for a Nintendo Switch 2 version of this game, at least as of right now. Now, you could take those sources as concrete, you could take them with a grain of salt. I don't really care. That's just stuff that I have heard through various grapevines. So could Baldur's Gate 3 come to the Nintendo Switch 2? I mean, maybe, but I don't think this is a smoking gun indicative of that. And more importantly, I don't think that it's in the cards right now for it to happen. Maybe down the road when the system is actually announced and comes out and stuff like that, and more developers get their hands on the development kits for it so they can see what they could do with the system, then maybe we can revisit this topic. But as it stands now, like if you run Baldur's Gate 3 on a Steam Deck, like you're not getting optimal performance for the game. It does struggle to hit 30 frames per second, and I don't imagine raw power wise the Switch 2 being a super souped up Steam Deck or anything like that. You gotta remember, Steam Deck is running stuff like Spider-Man games, Miles Morales and stuff at some pretty good resolutions and stuff like that. So as far as our first game in question, I'm gonna go ahead and say I think it's just sort of conjecture. I think it's people's hopes and what they would like to see, but I don't think this special thanks is indicative of anything like that. Sorry, Mr. Sushi. Now, moving on, of course, Tokyo Game Show is happening right now, and Tokyo Game Show, everyone's talking about it, what's gonna be there. I've seen some people saying the Switch 2 is gonna be there. It's not. Maybe behind a closed door or something like that, but beyond that, it's not going to be there. But now we're getting some information that's potentially pertaining to Tokyo Game Show, some stuff that was potentially talked about behind the scenes, and more games for the Nintendo Switch 2. So let's take a look at them. Nash Weedle, who is a leaker who has gotten some things right, some things wrong, we'll talk about both of those in just a second, has indeed said the following. This is translated by Google via their Spanish translation because I do not speak Spanish, but Leak Express, all aboard the Leak Express. Change of course for the Yakuza series. Although producer Masayoshi Yokoyama, hey, I did good on that one, stated that the Yakuza series saga clashes with the image of the Switch in Japan. They will be released for the next Nintendo console. A bundle will be revealed with the launch of the console. So essentially what Nash Weedle is saying is that they have heard, I'm guessing this is stemming from Tokyo Game Show, that the Yakuza games, or some of the Yakuza games here, you could see which the ones that are being represented. I'm sure that's not necessarily indicative of the games that are coming, but I don't know, maybe they are. There will be a bundle of these games released on the Nintendo Switch 2 successor. I do find it interesting for a few different reasons. First and foremost, this kind of does make sense for Sega to do something like this. Obviously, the Yakuza series is a very popular series right now. They've brought it over to the Xbox after being pretty much stuck on PlayStation systems for a very long time. Yakuza games have been on Nintendo systems before, just in Japan, so I do think that this is a possibility. However, I don't necessarily think that this is really like a leak. So here's the thing about Nash Weedle. They have been right about some things, but they have been wrong about some things. They hyped up a Gears of War collection that was supposed to be announced during Microsoft's summer presentation the day before the presentation took place, and then that never came to fruition. Stuff like Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door, like that had been around for so long that that game was coming to the Switch in some way, shape, or form, and then they talked about it, and then it came to fruition, so people give them credit. I'm not trying to diss on Nash Weedle or anything like that, because like I said, they have been right about some things, they've been wrong about some things, but most of the things that they tend to talk about are things that you could kind of piece together what's happening within the industry and make a strong guess at it. And then how the internet works is they just forget. Like, there'll be a small sect of people that will remember the times you were right and the times you were wrong. But what ends up happening is, you know, nowadays, all these websites report anything from anyone on Switch 2 stuff because of the fact that it's a very popular topic. People want to find information on this. So they just say words like allegedly, this is going to happen, according to this person. They have a decent track record, but I can't help but feel like the people reporting on this stuff probably never take a concrete look at what this individual's track record is, because what's gonna change, you know, the image of the Switch? Is the image gonna change with the Switch 2? What is the image of the Switch? I could play Mortal Kombat on there, I could play Doom on there, I could play all these weird hentai games on there that are very popular in Japan. What is it about the Yakuza series that doesn't line up? Like, that's such a weird thing to say, and it's a weird thing to sort of hang your hat on, because at the end of the day, this is business. Any company will put any game on any platform that they think that they can make money on, because it's all about money. It's not about, you know, worrying about social images and stuff like that. So this is the second game, a bundle of Yakuza titles. I mean, it would be cool, like, but I could play them on Game Pass, most of them, so like, you know, it's not something that I would potentially actively seek out. Of course, you do have the portability aspect of it, but you know, these games, I'm pretty sure they're available on Steam as well, so it's like, play it on a Steam Deck. But I guess it's interesting. I think it has a better chance than Baldur's Gate 3, but I also don't think that this is confirmation of the game or anything like that. This is just hearsay, this is just speculation and stuff like that, framed to be like a big aha moment if they're right when this does potentially come to fruition. So let me know in the comment section down below, how are we feeling about these leaks? And I wasn't going to talk about these things. I thought I made a quip about Baldur's Gate 3 in a previous video this week, but I guess that was in an earlier take that I did, because I like to do my videos in just like one long take, and if I mess up like once or twice, like I'll just stop and I'll restart. And I swear I touched on the Baldur's Gate 3 stuff, but I guess it didn't make it to to the video. But John, stupid Spawn Wave, made me come out and talk about these things because he's talking about it. And I don't want him getting any of the pie. I want the pie for myself, Spawn Wave. Son of a... Anyways, guys, thank you for checking out this video. Let me know your thoughts on everything in the comment section down below. How we feeling? Do you think these games will come to the Switch 2? What is the Switch 2? Because really, beyond the FTC stuff, we don't really know. Make sure you check out yesterday's video where I complain about YouTube being a joke, where you can show someone in real life dying, but I don't know why my voice cracked out of there, dying, but you can't show it in a video game because reasons. I don't know. Anyways, check out that video, and as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.